don't have a problem with a health insurance owning a PBM. I have a huge problem with a PBM owning a pharmacy. So if I could like take my magic wand, just make it illegal for a PBM to own a pharmacy. The incentives are too perverse to do it the wrong way.
Yeah, the way I think about it, I always have thought for years about PBMs as credit cards because at their core, they do the same thing. They process electronic claims associated with dollars. And from a fundamental fairness perspective, can you imagine if Visa got the data from every claims transaction at Dillard's so they could refer you down the street to the Visa department store?
Right.
I mean,
it's
just
such a great way to put it. I haven't heard that yet. It's
way better than my idea.
But it's what it is.
That's exactly what it
right?
is. I have a question for you because I was really thinking last night at a different angle at some of this. And I was really kind of like, I'm not going to say I was or not, but we might have done some cartwheels when we saw the Supreme Court ruling. We might have done some tumbling down the hallway. What was your reaction? Where were you at when you found out? I'm sure your phone was blowing up. That was an interesting tidbit I thought of last night. I was like, I wonder what he was doing.
It's a great question and a good story. Let me first of all by saying this: after I left the Pharmacists Association to go do my current deal, which is I'm a partner in a government relations company called Impact Management Group. I do contract lobby work for a lot of groups, a lot of industries. We still own the pharmacy and love doing that. And I hope we'll talk about the COVID stuff here in a little bit. But after I left, the guy that I hired as my number 2, John Vinson, took over and has just done a fantastic job. And John and his team really, carried the torch to continue the PR and continue the outreach to get that case to the Supreme Court and all the good stuff that followed with that. So I just want to make sure I give them a shout out for all the good work that they've done. So what did I do that day? I don't remember where I was on December 10th, 2020. No, of course I do, right? That's a sentinel date now for the rest of my life. I had planned on taking that day off. And I'd planned on taking that day off because me and a good friend of mine had been invited to play a golf course that I had never played before. It was a 72-degree day in December in Little Rock, Arkansas, and it was beautiful. It was sunny. And I was just looking forward to the night before, sleeping in a little bit, getting up and putting my golf clothes on and going and hitting the links. And that night, I got a call from John Vinson saying, "Hey, there's going to be the first decisions of the term issued tomorrow. We don't know if it's going to be ours. It might be ours. Probably not going to be ours. Just wanted you to be on kind of notice." And so I'm like, "Great, that's terrific." And so then I talked to Rob Smith, who's an attorney at Catton, which is a firm that we used at the Pharmacists Association. And you may have met Rob, I don't know, but he and his partner Howard from Catton just did Howard Rubin, Rob Smith and Howard Rubin did just a wonderful job helping us with amicus briefs and advising us through that 5-year process. And Rob's like, "Hey, did you hear there's going to be the first decisions of the term are coming down tomorrow? I'm not sure if it's going to be ours." So we kind of went through that same thing. And Rob's like, I don't think it's going to be ours, but it might be. So I got up in the morning, took a shower, got my golf clothes on, was getting ready to go to the golf course, and get a phone call. And I'm like, "Hello?" And they're like, "It's the decision's back. It's 8-0." And I'm like, damn, we lost 8-0. And they're like, "No, we won 8-0." And I'm like, "Holy crap, I need to get a copy of the opinion so I can start reading it." So the opinion came in quick. The text started. The phone call started.
Right.
I texted Senator Ron Caldwell, who's a dear friend and was the Senate sponsor, and Representative Michelle Gray, who's a dear friend, and the House sponsor, and other legislative folks that helped to champion along the way, Senator Jason Rapert, just litany of people. And it just became this digital virtual celebration, kind of doing those little happy dances, kind of like dancing like Elaine on Seinfeld, terribly, but but just happy dances. And then all of a sudden it was like, "Oh crap, I got to get to the golf course because my tee time's coming up." And so I go and pick up my buddy. I'm like euphoric over the Supreme Court stuff.
You have to be.
One of our congressman's office called me and said, "Hey, we need some help drafting a statement." So I worked with them while I was trying to get to the golf course. And I'm like, "Hey, I've got to go because I'm getting close to the golf course. But here's the last little bit of the statement thing that I think would be helpful." And then I played golf, and my wife was with me for the round of golf just to kind of to chill that day. And my buddy was with me, and we played golf and we drank beer And we had a glorious, glorious December 10th, 2020.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty solid. And the cool part about that is you're kind of this part of this cohort now that like you're going to get a drink at every bar where there's a bunch of independent pharmacists for the rest of your life.
I don't know about that.
You should just put like, I did Act 900.
Right.
Like,
well, look, if anybody's listening, Kettle One is perfectly fine.
Kettle One is perfectly.
And also shout out to Ron Fitzwater in Missouri because he's also a Kettle One aficionado.
Noted.
So Mark and I were talking last night, like one of the things that we thought was most unintentionally funny part of the PCMA decision was the PCMA's curt response.
Yeah.
What did you read into that?
I mean, their response is their typical response, which is obfuscate from any responsibility that they have and blame other people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, their playbook is their playbook, which is don't look at us, look at them.
Yeah.
They are, in Texas now, where you guys are probably filming this, they are putting up billboards blaming independent pharmacies for the high cost of drugs, which is ludicrous because guess what? Who sets the price of drugs? PBMs.
Right.
So, I mean, it's no more simpler than that. They're trying to throw PSAOs under the bus right now. You know why? Because there's something somebody doesn't know much about. So look at them.
Yeah, this is an obscure group. Yeah.
Here's an acronym that we don't even really know what it does.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, their whole model is it's kind of like being a 6-year-old who gets in trouble. What does a 6-year-old do when they get in trouble? They blame everybody but the person who caused the problem.
Right.
And all we need to do is look at PBMs as 6-year-olds who won't accept responsibility.
Yeah, no doubt. And I guess that maybe a silver lining in some of that you look at that billboard and you're like, you're a group that represents like, I'm thinking 5 or 6 of the Fortune 15 companies. Like it doesn't make any sense what they're doing.
I saw it, and I can't remember who was circulating it, but one of the big PBMs was putting out a deal, railing against independent pharmacies, saying that everybody knows that independent pharmacies have great profit margins and they make a ton of money. And I was like, where are those guys at?
I mean, look, I think the way that they've structured effective rate contracts over the last number of years, I mean, they've effectively ensured that some pharmacies are successful, and they've effectively put some pharmacies out of business. And they know that. And I think they've been strategic about that because effective rate contracts on their face are seemingly reasonable until you realize that not every pharmacy has the same payer mix. Not every pharmacy has the same product mix. Not every pharmacy has the same prescriber base. And when you start figuring all of those variables out, it creates distinct winners and it creates distinct losers. And it's not an equitable payment system. And at the end of the day, they don't care. It doesn't matter how big your parent company is. What really matters is the amount of leverage that we've allowed the Optums and CVS Caremarks and Express Scripts / Cigna now, whatever we want to call them. They've got the lives, and because they've got the lives, they have controlled the entire sector. And unless we, from a policy perspective, get a handle on that, this is going to be, still a challenging road ahead. We just have some new paths ahead of us because of Rutledge v. PCMA.